Coming up on this episode of Sandlot Sports, we discuss the college football playoffs, what happened in the Michigan-Alabama game, the Washington-Texas game, some of the other bowl games, where Florida State goes from here, kind of the state of the ACC, and we make our picks for the national championship game coming up. And if you like what we're doing, don't forget to like and subscribe to us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, or wherever else you might find your podcast. Well, welcome to Sandlot Sports. This is Adam Capison. I'm here with Dorian Cody.
Big Phoenix energy, baby. Let's go.
BJ Thomas.
You would say some shit like that, wouldn't you?
It's the Natty.
I'm just gonna make a note. I noticed something today. Both of your fantasy football names are plays on dick words, and then you keep saying Big Phoenix energy. I don't know if you're obsessed with dicks or not. I'm just saying from what I've noticed.
It's what they call a reoccurring theme.
Thank you.
How's it feel to be a champion this year?
Don't know yet.
Oh.
Dorian. Oh, I was definitely talking to Dorian. I don't know if you're in fantasy football.
Is it what happened now?
But it doesn't like you, Adam.
That's okay.
How does it feel to be a champion this year?
In the league that I won, I was the newest person to join, and they was talking much shit. Well, what they don't understand is being in the league, in our own league, and dealing with the likes of BJ Thomas and Zorian Patrick, I'm very keen on the people that I picked because I'm traumatized.
You're immune to this shit.
Right.
Yeah.
So, dude, first off, really quickly, where they fucked up was somebody had Puka Nakua and they dropped him. I'm like, you motherfuckers don't play fantasy football.
Was this a 4-man league or something?
No, my God. It was a 12-man league.
12-man and somebody dropped Puka.
And somebody dropped Puka.
Are you playing with people that are developmentally disabled?
Dude, all I know is a homie that I know asked me to be in the league. He said that these people are gurus or some shit. And I'm like,
they aren't. No, they aren't.
They might be gurus, but it ain't a fantasy football.
Hey, tell them they want to get into a league. They can join ours if they grow up enough.
Yeah, no, they're not ready for our league. Our league is a dog-eat-dog league. Yeah, go ahead.
I could not believe how hard it was to make a trade in that league. I tried for weeks to make a trade, and these guys were like, nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Dude, trading with you was like trading with the devil. I'm sorry, BJ, but I learned my lesson. I traded with you, and you fucking killed me 2 years ago.
I don't think you can fully comprehend what kind of compliment that is. I'm trying my hardest not to get an erection right now.
So, while y'all talk about the fantasy fairy tale footballs, I'm going to talk about the games on the field.
This is championship week. This is relevant.
Oh, you're right. It is championship week. So who's playing in the championships on the field this week?
And see, I've been waiting for this. I let you have your day of celebration. So you go up against the weakest Alabama offense that we have seen in a decade, and you want to jack your dick on that? Go ahead. That's fine. But you know and I know, and there is a long history on this podcast of you talking about how messed up Alabama's offense is, the defense doesn't look the same, and now you want to get super excited about beating Alabama.
I never said anything about that. I just said they're playing in the championship. You're the one that said that J.J. McCarthy was going to be in a body bag.
Well, he's not special. You know he's not special.
3 touchdowns.
He's not special. He's not special. You know he's not special. That's fine. When he gets to the league and he winds up doing the A.J. McCarron thing, you'll find out.
That's fine.
AK said, "A win is a win, right?"
Hey, look, when you are Michigan, you have to take what is given to you.
So there's
do it like that.
There's been a meme.
Look, bro, I gave him a day to celebrate. You're not going to get on here and talk shit like you played like Mac Jones's Alabama or A.J. McCarron's Alabama, or that's not what you're gonna do.
Craig Malcoy's Alabama, 61 yards in the championship game.
No. We have been talking all year about how Alabama is not the same Alabama, and now everybody wants to get excited. Let's not do that.
Well, they won the mighty SEC. So what does that say about the conference?
Look, people have down years. You guys have had a down fucking 20 years.
Yeah, well, it's still playing for the Natty on Monday.
But we've also talked about this. You can't hold on to the unicorn. In this case, This is definitely a fucking unicorn. Yeah, we can do this all day. You're not going to be happy.
By the way, who did Florida play in the bowl season this year?
Oh, you can't personally insult me right now.
Oh my God!
How did that Cowboys Lions game turn out with your fucking fake ass reporting?
We'll
and
get to the
multiple angles. No. Football's football. Multiple angles and multiple stories telling that the wrong lineman reported because they were attempting to be deceptive. But when you have a gorilla running your team, this is the shit that happens.
The gorilla that you keep putting up for Coach of the Year, that I keep telling you no, but that's okay. We'll get to the NFL later.
He might be Coach of the Year, but that does not mean he's not a gorilla. You can go back to college football to save face. Go ahead.
I had the college football segment. I am the producer. I'm going to produce this segment, and we'll get the NFL segment, which I will produce later.
Be the producer. Talent dictates where the shows go, buddy. Go ahead. Adam, you don't want to do this tonight. You got the wrong night.
You got one person that's drunk as hell. One person that's hiding shit from his friends.
I'm going to tell you something right now. Modelo dictates the show. I'm telling you, y'all are about to find out tonight why BJ quit drinking 10 years ago. Go ahead, it's going to get worse.
So, but I mean, to BJ's point, I've never seen an Alabama offensive line give up that many sacks in a game.
It was tough to watch. Unfortunately, I was moving, so I was trying to legally pay attention to the game while driving a 17,000-pound truck. That is not easy, by the way, because I wanted to watch it, but I would have killed somebody. So what I did is I turned the game on my YouTube TV and then flipped the phone over in the passenger seat so I could listen to it. Because if it was the other way around, I would have killed somebody. So it was very tough to kind of like get a grasp of what was going on, but I will tell you this, the committee made the right decision.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what we do know. Both of those games were tight. They were entertaining. I don't care if those 20 guys from Florida State would have played. What matters in football is the trenches and quarterback play. And when you don't have quarterback play, you are at a severe disadvantage.
Yes.
Right.
And Alabama did not fix the problems that they had throughout the whole season. You alluded to it. It's not the typical Alabama team. They don't normally roll snaps back to the quarterback. Normally, the blocking and tackling of football they can do. They also gave up the most sacks ever of an Alabama team on the season. That is not a Nick Saban-led team.
What we're about to see is the NIL is going to flatten talent out across college football.
And that's a good thing.
What's going to be hilarious is when you realize that my Syracuse Orange are going to be a real problem next year.
Hey, you got a 5-star quarterback.
I have not been able to, that idiot. But I have not been able to say that. I'm originally a Syracuse Orangeman fan. When I moved to Florida, they force you to pick a team like modern day Republicans and Democrats. You either have a choice. You can pick Florida or Florida State. Miami's for the queers. But
dude.
I'm telling you, you're gonna find out. You are gonna find out. We're gonna find out tonight when we get canceled, because I'm going to cancel us. I already got kicked out of somebody's house. This is gonna get better. Florida, but no, seriously, either one of the three teams you're forced to pick: Florida, Florida State, or Miami. And I picked Florida, but I was originally a Syracuse fan because that's where I grew up. Syracuse will be formidable next year, and they have a shit schedule, which is the Big Ten playbook to get to the title game.
Who's the quarterback that they picked up?
Kyle McCord.
Ohio State, Kyle McCord.
They ran his ass out of town because they couldn't beat Michigan.
As Adam refers to, Honda McCord. Which I would like to also note after several weeks, that is a horrible joke.
Honda McCord.
Hey, which is worse, Honda McCord or Big Penix Energy? I mean, just
see, now you're trying to get me in trouble.
Look, Mike earned that name, but we will talk about him later. But he earned that nickname.
Trying to get me in trouble.
You don't need help.
No, I don't need help. This is really going to be a problem tonight. You don't understand. Continue. I'm trying to stay focused.
So, all right. So, last play of the game, right? So many things went wrong with that. So we talked about it when we were messaging each other as far as like what other schemes that they could have ran besides Milrow going up to middle to do a draw.
Well,
like,
okay, so here's the thing about the last play of the game. So it was a designed RPO. Okay. The problem was that the snap was again low because they'd been a problem all season, and it threw Milrow off. If you watch the play, the running back, I think it was McClellan, I think is his name, was open in the flat. Colson was with him. Junior Colson was with him, but he didn't have the right angle. So had Milrow had a chance to read it properly, that's a touchdown. Had he also read the line properly, it's also a touchdown because Sanders still cut in too wide, and there was a gap there. Milrow the snap was low. He freaked out. Guys, what is a freshman or sophomore quarterback? And he just misread the play.
I would like to stir the shit pot because that's what I'm here to do tonight. I feel like Georgia would have been a better matchup.
Georgia probably would have won. A healthy Georgia probably would have won that game.
I believe so.
A healthy Georgia probably would have beat Alabama. But it's wishes and nuts were kisses and butts, or whatever the saying is.
If ifs and buts were wishes, I don't even remember.
So
if ifs and buts were candies and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas.
So it was a low snap, and so are you saying that he panicked?
Yes.
Well, that also messes up timing. So let's not just go to the panic part. There's a half a second difference between catching that in the chest and bending over and grabbing it. And when you got people moving 20 miles an hour, a half a second is a huge difference.
Yeah. Absolutely. And as much as BJ doesn't want to give them credit, that Michigan defensive line is legit.
Well, they're still bitches.
They were pushing that line around all night, and they got into his head.
Yeah, I'm just saying, though, we've been talking all year about how Alabama's not the same Alabama. We aren't going to act like we didn't talk about that tonight. That's all I'm here to say. I'm not an Alabama fan. I never have been. But I tend to call out the bullshit. This seems like bullshit.
So the RPO was supposed to go to the running back.
It was supposed to be a read. It was supposed to be a read. And if you watch the route, McClellan was the pass option. The two wide receivers on the left were going to block. McClellan was going to be open. Junior Colston went with him, and he just misread it.
Wow.
But whatever. I was joking with a friend of mine today is people remember that play because it's the fourth down play that ends the game. The bigger play was actually the play before that when Burton caught the ball at the 3 and was just stonewalled by Josh Wallace. Because how many times do you see a wide receiver catch that ball, either break out of a tackle, spin, and get in the end zone?
Yeah.
He caught it and was stopped.
Yeah.
That damn near broke his leg.
Oh, wow.
Well, did you watch? Yes, he cramped up, but if you watch it, like his leg bends awkwardly. I think Mike Rapogo and our fan chat mentioned, like, your leg's not supposed to bend that way.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That's
we gotta stop mentioning Mike in the podcast. He's a Bears fan. It's bad for ratings.
And they want to keep Eberflus and Justin Fields, which is great content for us. So
they cannot if they keep both of them. Holy crap!
It's too bad. Too bad. So okay, even if that's the case, right? Like, would you? In most cases, like with Nick Saban in years past, the offensive coordinators were very creative in those type of plays, right? Like, for example, I think if it was a Sarkisian, or let's say if it was a Lane Kiffin, I think that they would have included the tight end because in that moment,
because again, going back to what we talked about all season. BJ himself was given Tommy Rees credit for developing Milrow into the quarterback that he became.
It really could all come down to a low snap.
Yeah.
It really could. You have to remember, like, they're not even dealing with 50 yards of field. They're dealing with like 15 yards of field. That's a
Yeah.
that's a that makes a big difference for half a second. So
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
it really could be a low snap that caused a lot of problems.
Yeah, and they were snapping it low all game.
And I'm definitely not defending the play calling. I don't want you to think that, but I'm just saying in this specific case, it could have definitely been a low snap that caused a lot of problems.
And I mean the 4th and 31 against Auburn, that was caused by a low snap. Some of the plays against Texas were caused by low snaps. So this was a problem for them all season that they never rectified. And then the center has the cojones to blame Milroe for not catching the snaps.
Well, I mean, that's modern day kids these days, right? It definitely wasn't my fault. I don't know what you're thinking.
Yeah. So what are some plays that you remember from last night's game that could have turned the tide for Bama that you remember?
Well, a couple. You got the double pass from Donovan Edwards to J.J. McCarthy. That was a horrible thrown pass. McCarthy somehow catches it and throws it downfield. Gets the crap beat out of him and still completes it. Even on that final drive, not covering Blake Corum coming out of the backfield, but also the tipped pass to Roman Wilson down by the end zone. Honestly, if that's not tipped, I think it sails over his head and is intercepted.
I think it's fair to say in a game that's that close, probably 7 or 8 plays we could list right now.
Oh yeah, easily.
This is me assuming though, because like I said, I didn't unfortunately get to watch a lot of football last night.
For me, I think the opportunity that Alabama had when Michigan did that botched punt, and they could have had it taken the end zone. I felt as if that could have been a turning point that could have really been like the momentum swing for 2 scores for Bama. But when they didn't get the opportunity to get that ball, I think that was.
You talking about the last one where like every Michigan fan's heart stopped for like a half
a
second?
That one.
I've seen this movie. I know how this ends.
I saw it up close. The Alabama, I think it was. I don't know if he was a safety or a receiver. I don't know what he was. He had that ball, but the wide receiver took it from him and was able to secure it, and they put him at the 1 yard line. Now, he had the ball. If he would have took that ball, that would have been game over.
It's game over. Now, I am unclear. I actually have not been able to find it that if the punt is muffed in the field of play, because that's not possession, but you recover it in the end zone, is it a touchback or a safety? So I don't know. I mean, like I've seen people say both sides. Like I honestly don't know. What I do know is that if you're on your 1 yard line and there's 40 seconds left, you should not be taking a shotgun snap.
Can you advance a muffed punt?
No. Once it's recovered, it's done.
But I would feel like you'd have to get possession.
Yes. So
I think it's a safety.
Okay.
That's what makes. I'm not saying that's the rule, but if you talk it out, it seems like
it seemed like it would be a safety, but because you don't have possession, this is what makes it a muff. You never actually claimed possession in the field of play, so it was possession of the kicking team. You never claimed possession. I don't know. I couldn't find it. I guess it's one of those things we may never know, because how often does stupid shit like that happen, except for Michigan. So. But and it was interesting watching this game. And BJ, I know you said you couldn't really watch it, but you could listen to it. When Bama went up 17-13 early in the 4th quarter, first of all, it's the first time Michigan's trailed in the second half all season. They had a 3rd and 9. You could hear the SEC chants from the crowd. You could hear it over the telecast. It was that moment you realized Michigan's going to lose this game, because that's the point where most SEC teams just, okay, you're done. We're done here. And let's go back to your point, Dorian, about plays. The next Alabama possession, when they fumbled the ball, when Miller fumbled the ball, and it gave Michigan hope. Hope is not a strategy, but it's a weapon.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I remember that. And was that fumble caused by a low snap?
No, it was caused by him holding the ball in the wrong arm, and I forget who knocked it out.
That's right. It was wasn't it 55? Is it Graham? Is that his name for Michigan?
55 is Graham. I don't think it was him. It might
Okay.
have been 25. May have been Colston.
Okay. I knew it was somebody with 5, but they get Michigan. But kudos to Jim Harbaugh, man. Like he had them locked in all year. And their defense has been solid. Also, too, I did notice, and even though BJ is right, this is a different Alabama team. But
It's
I
still the same
credit
recruits.
Michigan.
Still the same 4 and 5-star recruits that Bama gets.
Right,
Not a
right,
quarterback.
right. But what I'm saying is this: Michigan's defense weren't scared of Alabama's offense. Like you could tell, like their corners were like, yeah, like they were manning up the corners. I've never seen that with a a Big Ten team outside of Ohio State that will go man on an SEC team. I've never seen it. And if you guys could tell me whatever Big Ten team that has done that in the past, please let me know. I've never seen that outside of Ohio State.
Allow me to jump in the logic salad real quick. If it doesn't matter that Jalen Milroe wasn't a good Alabama quarterback, then FSU should have been in the Final Four.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying that they didn't have a typical. I'm glad that Michigan made it through. I'm glad it's something different. I'm glad we're going to see 2 different teams because it has been, even though I talk a lot of shit about the SEC, it is nice to see something different. But the truth of the matter is, it's a different situation. They didn't quite beat the typical Alabama team. However, there, like Adam said, there's a lot of the similar recruits, a lot of similar players. So I don't know.
Milroe was a 4-star quarterback coming out of high school.
The stars are tricky though. Like, how did he get them? Running the ball, running people over. Yeah, that's cool. You get 4 stars.
His listed position coming out of high school was pocket passer.
Sure. Inaccurate. That is much like his downfield throws. That is inaccurate. I don't think I would go with that. He was. In what competition was he playing against? Was he 3A, 4A? Like all that matters.
It was from Texas. I don't have his classification in Texas.
But I'm not trying to rag on the kid. What he did do for sure is improve every week.
Yeah.
So I will give him that. But when you're so terrible to start the season, I don't know how hard that is to do.
Yeah.
We're talking about a kid that was benched at one point.
Yep.
Yeah.
For some dude that was benched.
Some dude who's no longer on the team, by the way.
There you go.
So
what, Ty Simpson? Yeah.
Forget it was.
What did he transfer to? Fresno State or something?
Something funky. But if we want to talk about opt-outs and transfers, let's just talk about the Florida State no-show. Yeah. So I'll let you guys go first. I have my thoughts, but I'll let you guys go first.
I mean, it's unfortunate. I mean, Georgia did what it was supposed to do. Like Kirby Smart, like I'll give them none of that shit. Like we're in a bowl game, millions of people watching. Like I'm gonna tap that ass. Y'all figure it out. What you say?
I'm just saying, without quarterback play, they would have lost by 40 instead of 60.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
Eventually, that defense is gonna. If everybody started, eventually that defense is gonna be sick of being on the field. They're gonna be tired. They're gonna be beat up. And you can say, well, all these offensive players, but who's gonna give them the football? It has been proven without a shadow of a doubt against lesser competition, because I think we all agree that Louisville is not Georgia.
Louisville lost to USC without Caleb Williams.
Yeah, Louisville is definitely not Georgia. That against lesser competition, they could not get the ball down the field. How did you think that was going to go against Georgia?
Right.
Yeah, and my thoughts are basically very similar. I mean, FSU was at a complete total deficit to start with. On top of that, the players did not want to be there. I can't prove this. This is just me.
No, y'all give me shit for saying these bowl games don't matter.
But let's just hear me out. Tinfoil hat time for Adam.
Hear me out for the last year.
So They did not want to be there at all. The administration flat out told them, "You're going to play in this game. You're going to get the money for this game." And
Fuck you, I'll transfer.
that's to me, that's what happened. They went, "Okay, well, fuck off. The game's gonna be over at halftime. I don't give a flying fuck." It was 42-3 at halftime. They did not care. They did not want to be there, as opposed to some of the other bowl games where it was kind of yay or nay. They literally, this was a middle finger to their own school's administration for making them play that game.
Well, first of all, nobody should sit out that money. Let's just be honest. It's a terrible economy. Go get that money.
Well, the players don't get that money. That's the problem.
Yeah, well, money's to be made.
No,
So it's gonna get made.
And maybe that's why the NCAA doesn't like Harbaugh, but that's a whole different conversation.
Well, he's a bastard, but that's fine. First of all, that's not a Michigan thing. I haven't liked Harbaugh since he's a 49ers coach. So let me clarify that. But anyways, I don't know if put yourself in the shoes of a Florida State starting cornerback, starting safety, linebacker, whatever. Would you have played that game after what happened?
No.
With your potential future on the line, you've already been shafted. So I've been catching shit, maybe not directly from you guys, but my opinion has been catching shit that has been voiced by other people in other forums on Facebook. These guys don't care about these bowl games.
No,
they don't give a shit. They have other things to worry about. The Jalen Smith thing for Notre Dame years ago taught them all a lesson.
Yeah, I want to say Jalen Smith and Jake Butt happened in the same year. If not, they were very close to it. Jake Butt was never the same.
Jalen Smith has never been the same. He had 2 good years with the Cowboys and has been bouncing from team to team ever since.
Jake Butt, I don't know if he ever played an actual down in the NFL.
If I remember correctly, when Jalen Smith was evaluated, they said that he would be okay for a while and then his knee would continue to deteriorate. And he hasn't been the same since.
Yeah, didn't he have like nerve damage? Wasn't that part of his problem?
He did have nerve damage. He had a drop foot, I believe is what they call it. And he was trying to recover from that all the way into his rookie season. If I remember correctly, I don't think he played until the back half of his rookie season. Excuse me, if at all.
Yeah, Jake Butt, I know going back to Michigan, like he was supposed to be a first-round draft pick. Blew out his ACL against Florida State in the Orange Bowl. And I'm trying to find stats. I don't think he actually ever played a down in the NFL. Right now he's doing broadcasts for the Big Ten Network.
Not to mention, he was going to be a solid tight end is what he was ranked as. I mean, he was projected to be a decent tight end in the NFL.
Yeah, he was.
So, I mean, these guys have to protect themselves because at every turn, at every instance, the university will protect itself. And this is why I'm okay with the NIL. This is why I'm okay with these guys opting out, because at any minute their scholarship could be pulled with no repercussions for the college. And go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're 100% right. Like if you have a problem with NIL, you have a problem with them opt-outs. Okay, then fine. Then make their scholarships 4-year scholarships. If they commit to your school, then give them a 4-year scholarship, and then kind of figure out the paperwork. These scholarships are year to year, except for I think 5 or 6 schools in FBS. So if you don't want them opting out, make it a 4-year commitment. But if you don't want to make that commitment, why are they going to commit to you?
Yeah, and just to finish my point on Jalen Smith, he didn't play his whole rookie year. He was drafted in 2016, and the first statistics for him were 2017.
So it was the same year.
Yeah, it might be, yeah.
So yeah,
and we're talking about a guy who was projected to be a generational talent at linebacker, and then all of a sudden blows his knee out in a meaningless bowl game.
And that's why, like, teams like Ohio State, you've got Marvin Harrison, who was 60% of our offense, was like, I'm gonna just chill here on the sidelines.
Yeah. Speaking of,
they have to do something about it. They have to put something in the NIL contracts to say if you sign this NIL deal, then you have to play in the bowl game.
I'm okay with if you're healthy, you have to play in the bowl game.
Yeah, but see, here's the deal. How do you prove somebody's back doesn't hurt?
Yeah. The NBA's got the same problem with load management. Oh, my knee
Absolutely.
hurts today. So, but yeah, to me, there's got to be if they're starting to get hundreds of thousands of dollars, and the Rashada from Arizona State got millions of dollars. If there's now a monetary commitment, there should be some reciprocation there. So I don't disagree with that. I don't know how you would enforce it, but I do see something with that. Dorian, you were
Well,
going to say something?
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no. What I was gonna say was like like you said before, like something has to be put in for the NILs to convince these guys that it's worth it for them playing. Like they're getting something out of that TV money because you're gonna see this happen. Also, too, side note, um, Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm a huge fan of his, but now that I've saw some of the games from Washington and their wide receiver Rome Odunze, he's real deal, man. Like I've seen highlights and I've seen him against one-on-one competition, him going up against a DB and a safety, and there's not a huge gap between him and Marvin
Well,
Harrison Jr.
well,
Some people have been
yeah,
saying that Marvin Harrison Jr. is like the runaway for the best receiver in college, and in college.
I have a counterpoint.
Doomsday that he can have something to say about it too.
I have a counterpoint. Who's a better quarterback, Kyle McCord
Okay.
or Michael Penix?
That's actually
Of
debatable.
course.
I mean, yes,
Yeah,
Penix is having,
yeah, everything is debatable. You're right, but
but Penix is having the better year. But you give McCord a better offensive coordinator. You give him that offensive line, and I mean, you were just talking about how great McCord was going to be in Syracuse.
Because have you seen the schedule?
Yes, I sent it to you.
Have you seen the schedule? If they don't wind up in the playoffs based on that schedule alone, this year is a failure.
So for everyone who can't see what we're talking about, obviously McCord transferred to Syracuse. Next year in the ACC, assuming the ACC still exists, they don't play Clemson or Florida State.
I mean, how much better does that get?
I think the hardest game is against Miami.
They're gonna play like 10 Boston colleges. This is excellent.
Speaking of ACC, so DJU is look like he's going to Florida State.
Yes.
What are
I'm
your
so
thoughts on that?
happy that he's gonna play against Clemson again.
Oh yeah. Matter of fact, you spoke on it a couple
So
of
happy.
episodes ago.
Rub it in. That's what sports is about. Rub it in.
Yes.
Score 5 times. Make them feel it. I hope the game's in Death Valley, but it's not. It's in Tallahassee. I'm pretty sure.
One way to find out.
I'm pretty sure. From what I'm pretty sure I heard that it was in Tallahassee. But if not, you can't write a better script than to go back to Death Valley and just rub it in.
Yeah, and to me that'd be a great kind of send off for Florida State because they want out of that conference.
Yeah.
Oh, they're going to spend millions of dollars to get out of there.
Yep, and no one's going to want them. I mean, the Big Ten will take them, but no one really wants them.
Yeah.
I
I
can't
mean, in
believe that.
order to be able to keep up with the likes of the SEC, man, you gotta
Well,
take as many.
I think we talked about a couple weeks ago is the Big Ten, the SEC want, and the SEC want them just so the other conference doesn't get them.
I don't think the SEC want them. Florida and South Carolina are protesting because of regional things.
Yep. Well, and again, I've been saying that since this came up is that Florida will flatly reject any Florida State transfer. And BJ, you are correct. So the Clemson,
They don't want those
Florida State
scuzzy.
game,
They don't want those scuzzies in the league.
so the Clemson Florida State game next year is in Doak Campbell.
Yeah, I wish it was at Death Valley. That'd be much better. Could you imagine? Could you imagine basically being kicked off the team?
Yeah.
That's like the most straightforward way to put it. Going to another school, being successful, and then coming to the school that you originally kicked off the team's main rival, and going back into their stadium and just rubbing it in. Just rubbing it in. It would have been excellent. But beating him at Doak Campbell's a close second.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, you boys want to pick the championship game on Monday?
Well, not yet. 'Cause we didn't get a chance to really chime in on Texas Washington. Um,
He really wants to say Big Penix Energy again.
Yeah, he
no,
does. He
no,
wants to say
no.
it at least 3 more times.
No, no, no,
God,
no.
I
I'm
hope
saying
RG3 is not calling that game.
I'm pretty sure he is.
Between him and Dorian, I'm just gonna go crazy over here.
Look, man, Michael Penix is from Florida, out of Tampa. I salute anybody from Florida, so big ups to him. But I do want to say this. So one of the things that I heard today was they were disappointed in Texas' inability to stop uh, Washington's offense. But Washington offense have been in the top 5 in the FBS, right? So all season, right? Like top 5, top 10.
It's up there.
Yeah,
Right.
Washington's offense is the 11th most yards, and
Right.
yeah, and
And they're number 2 for a reason. So it's kind of like, again, ESPN. It's like you have a solid defense in Texas and you have a explosive offense in Washington. Like I expected it to be that high.
like, and they even said during the Rose Bowl, this is going to be a shootout with against Washington and Texas. What the hell do you think was going to happen?
Right, exactly. It was great football, all the way down to the wire. That's what we needed. College football needed the 2 games last night. I was very impressed. Even though that last play, no, actually it wasn't the last play. It was the play with Ewers. He didn't pay attention to it, but they showed it. He had his slot receiver wide open over the middle for a touchdown. But again, if you got a guy running after you, that's a totally different thing. But it's just amazing how when you see the video, you see, wow, like there's other options. But when you're in the moment, I
Yeah.
mean,
And I've got our stats up when we picked the game last week. Okay, so they're concerned about Texas's defense. Fine. Washington has the best pass offense in all of college football. Okay, Texas's pass defense is ranked 95th.
oh damn.
Okay,
Very USC.
so what the fuck did you think was going to happen?
Oh damn! I didn't know they were that low.
So I would take that information and I would just say that's the only reason they beat Alabama.
Texas?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Alabama couldn't throw the ball, so they got lucky.
Yeah, their rush defense was 4th.
Yeah, and that'll fix that problem.
Yeah. That's
So
crazy.
now I will say that going into the championship game on Monday, I am a little upset that I believe Dylan Johnson from Washington is going to be out. I know he'd been dealing with a foot injury all season, and it looked like it just kind of finally went last night, which is the shame. You want both teams to be at full strength for the championship game.
Dylan Johnson
Yeah,
is
hopefully.
It's the starting running back for Washington.
Oh, that's right. Number 7?
Yeah, I believe that's his
Yeah.
number.
Yeah. Yeah, he was that. Ooh. Solid too. He's a little wrecking ball for Washington. So
Yeah, it's a shame. I mean,
it's gonna be
again,
quite
you
interesting.
want teams to be full strength for a playoff game or championship game. So
Yeah. What's Michigan's pass defense?
I'll just pull it up here. So now, granted, to BJ's point that he keeps echoing all season, this is against Big Ten offenses, but their pass defense.
I am so glad you fucking said that. I am so glad it only took 13 weeks for you to recognize this.
So, but their pass defense is 2nd.
It made my heart warm.
The rush
wow.
defense is 6th.
It's like drinking whiskey in the snow.
So the game on Monday is going to come down to just essentially how well can Washington stop Michigan? Because again, Washington's rush defense is meh. Their pass defense is terrible. So if Michigan can do what they've done all season and just methodically work the ball down the field, bleed the clock, limit possessions, they've got a really good chance.
So I'm looking at so their run so Washington's run defense is 444 the 41st.
Correct.
And Blake Corum is gonna man, he's like a little muscle hamster, dude. Like I see him bouncing off of like 6'4", 295-pound lineman, dude. Like I don't know what he's taking, but it's working for him. Like he's just bouncing off of him. And I under he is as far as being able to like I saw a play to where he was running through one of the gaps, and he ran at a certain angle to where he knew that they were going to pull his pad, and how he was able to still run at full speed and run like kind of awkwardly through that A gap. It was phenomenal. Like,
Two words for you as to why. Mike Hart.
Yeah. Well, shout out to Mike Hart, man, because
BJ, where's Mike Hart from?
He was stolen out of Syracuse's backyard.
Yeah, man. Like kudos to their run offense, man. Michigan for Blake Corum.
And let's not forget that Michigan did that last night without their All-American right guard, who broke his leg against Ohio State.
Oh, that's right. I think I'm gonna read about that.
So, there is a reason why that it works. And again, if they can consistently run the ball, bleed the clock, limit possessions, and get pressure on Penix, they're not going to sack them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Washington's allowed, I think, 11 sacks all season.
All season, that's crazy.
So they're not going to sack him as often as they did Milroe, but doesn't mean they're not going to pressure him. Get him off his spot, disrupt timing, as we've talked about. They've got a really good chance of disrupting the offense. And if you limit possessions and you disrupt the timing, you start to get in people's heads like, I have to score now. And they go faster than they want to.
Where do you think Penix is going to get drafted?
Probably with the Bears.
Yeah, the Bears. What where? Like what round? My guess is probably second.
Second.
Yeah.
I
can see the Patriots taking a shot at trying to get him.
I mean, just to give you an idea how deep this quarterback class is, they have Bo Nix listed like 6th.
Yeah.
And he's been playing football since I was in high school, so
well,
it feels like it.
And realistically, Penix isn't that far behind.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I want to say he's been playing since 18.
Yeah, because he was at Indiana.
Yep.
4 years and get the hell out of here. That's what it should be. That's all you got, 4 years.
Yep, I was right. Yeah, he started at Indiana in 2018. So now I think the quarterback for who was it? I think it was Oklahoma State, has been playing just as long, and he's petitioning for another season. I'm like,
fuck it.
It's like, are you Van Wilder? What is going on here? See if I can Alan Bowman.
Wow.
Yeah. He's been at 3 different schools, and he's petitioned the NCAA to play again next year. I'm like, no. Unless your name is going to be Dr. Alan Bowman, get out.
They do what they want, that's for sure.
So, BJ, who do you have for Monday?
Just out of pure hater, I'm going to go Washington.
Okay. Dorian?
I was honest. That's all I can say.
I'll be honest. It can go either way. I'm gonna go with my homie, man. I'm gonna go with Mike in Washington.
I mean, you said Big Penix so much, I didn't know how you'd pick anything else.
So, I mean, I've come this far. Honestly, I'm just happy they won yesterday. I'm going with Michigan.
You sound like such a.
Finally,
You sound like such a.
finally. I thought
I
you'd be
know.
like, I'm
Finally,
going Washington.
he put that bad juju on him, and Washington's going to beat him. Like of all the times to not put bad juju on your team, you wait till the championship game. I cannot believe that this is your strategy. If anybody tells you you're intelligent, just tell them they're mistaken.
I picked them last week, so.
Yeah, and they squeaked it out by a fucking.
tried to Michigan away. But by the way, speaking of last week, BJ, you and I had a little bet about the game. You said Alabama would win by 2 scores.
I don't remember shit. I'm not buying your old family chicken wings. You can believe that. And I don't remember being plural anyways. I figure I can buy 2 chicken wings and get out of this.
The big 2 jumbo chicken wings.
I should have gone to school to be a lawyer, but I didn't care enough. And I don't know if there's more of a profession that makes more money being scuzzy than lawyers anyways.
More money by it's a professional professional gamblers up there, but I think lawyers make more money.
I was thinking pimps.
No, they don't make as much as lawyers.
You make a lot of money for being scuzzy though.
It's true.
Like a good friend once told me, if she likes it, you gotta love it. That sounds like some JT Money shit. And if I'm betting by the looks of some of the people that follow our Facebook page, you don't know who JT Money is, invest some time. Invest some time in some JT Money songs on Spotify. If you aren't divorced by the weekend, I'd be surprised.
So to save everyone's marriage, I'm gonna have a break right here, and we'll be back with the NFL.
He's out here saving marriages. I'm trying to save lives.